You're live right now? Where can we see the comments?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It says starting still.
Oh, okay.
There it is.
Jillian hasn't started for you yet.
You have to refresh the page probably. Where does it pop up that we can see how many people are watching?
You're live.
Okay. Beautiful.
There's only 2 people watching.
Okay. Oh, Tamar said that they're here. Okay. For everyone coming on, we're setting up the ambiance. Is that like...
You want to sit down, babe? And then we'll... Yeah.
But I want to make sure it's close enough. Okay.
Welcome. For those of you joining us, please let us know if we're too loud or too quiet. More than happy to change the audio levels for you guys.
Our sound engineer said it's good.
Welcome.
Jillian.
We're going to wait about a minute for a couple people to join. Please get relaxed. Get some cucumbers on your eyes if you have them available. Welcome to our humble evening.
Maybe play some jams.
Welcome, Fred Wellisch. Gonna wait about 1 more minute for some folks to join.
My cucumbers.
Hello, everyone. May I have my glasses, please? Okay. Welcome to Self-Care Shabbat. I'm Aviva.
I'm Julia.
And I'm Ben.
And we're excited to spend Friday night with you all. So we're going to begin with a reading. Julia, do you want to say a word about how you came across your readings for today?
Yeah, so I am in charge of the readings portion of the service. And I felt it only appropriate to have readings regarding self-care, readings regarding being well. And so I crowdsourced on Instagram, and I asked people to send me the poems or readings that best are helping them get through this time, and pulled from those. So we're actually going to start with me sharing my favorite poem that helps me out a lot. It's called The Guest House by Rumi. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house, empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to begin now with Hine Matov, which is on page 535 if you have the Siddur. If not,
just listen to the tunes.
Just listen, yai-da-dai. Maybe
It's pretty simple.
Hine Matovu Manayim Shevetahim Gam Yachad Hine Matovu Manayim
שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Amazing. Okay, now we're going to turn to page
'Thanks, Becky.' She said, 'Beautiful reading, Julia.'
We're going to turn to page 13. Should we light the candles first? I feel like we should light the candles first.
Sure.
Let's light the candles.
We're lighting the candles now.
Okay, if you have candles at home, you can pull them out. We are into conservation in this house, so we are finishing up the Shabbat candles we've been using for a bit now. So let me figure out how I can show these.
Yeah, pan down.
And Uni is here to assist you.
Oh yeah, we have many guests here with us. We have a collection of stuffed animals. You will probably catch glimpses of them as we go along. But okay, grab your candles. And here we go.
Beautiful.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kadishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Candles are a little short to have them in the view the whole time, but
Okay.
it's all right.
That's okay.
All right.
Is that too high? That's
We're good.
No, it's fine.
okay.
What page?
Okay, now we are on page 13 for Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bohem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Sehem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Julia's going to share another reading with us.
Cool. So I'm doing another reading that's going to relate to our next song, which is Yismehu Hashamayim, right? And the whole spiel about that is nature and like taking in nature and enjoying nature. So this poem is called Instructions on Not Giving Up by Ada Limon. More than the fuchsia funnels breaking out of the crabapple tree, more than the neighbor's almost obscene display of cherry limbs shoving their cotton candy-colored blossoms to the slate sky of spring rains, it's the greening of the trees that really gets to me. When all the shock of white and taffy, the world's baubles and trinkets, leave the pavement strewn with the confetti of aftermath, the leaves come. Patient, plodding, a green skin growing over whatever winter did to us, a return to the strange idea of continuous living, despite the mess of us, the hurt, the empty. Fine then, I'll take it, the tree seems to say, a new slick leaf unfurling like a fist to an open palm. I'll take it all.
Now we're on page 27 for Yismehu Hashamayim.
Yismehu Hashamayim, Yismehu Hashamayim, Yismehu Hashamayim, Haaretz, Yiram Hayam, Yiram Hayam, Yiram Hayam, Umelah, Yiram Hayam, Yiram Hayam, Yiram Hayam. A short but sweet one.
Thank you. Okay. Next.
I have another reading?
You have another reading.
Another
Instead of Lahadodi, we're going to replace that with a reading. And Lahadodi is really about welcoming Shabbat, welcoming peace, welcoming calm. So that's kind of the vibe we were trying to go for with this.
That's the vibe, and also with a slight social activist-y lens.
Classic JRC.
Very classic JRC, yes. It's called With This Open Time. It's by Emma Zeck. With this open time, you do not have to write the next best-selling novel. You do not have to get in the best shape of your life. You do not have to start that podcast. What you can do instead is observe this pause as an opportunity. The same systems we see crumbling in society are being called to crumble in each of us individually. The systems that taught us we are machines that live to produce, and we are disposable if we are not doing so. The systems that taught us monetary gain takes priority over humanity. The systems that create our insecurities then capitalize off of them. What if we became curious with this free time and had no agenda other than to experience being? What if you created art for the sake of creating? What if you allowed yourself to rest and cry and laugh and play and get curious about whatever arises in you? What if our true purpose is in this space? As if Mother Earth is saying, we can no longer carry on this way. The time is now. I am reminding you who you are. Will you remember?
And with that, we're going to turn to page 57 for the Barahu. And people typically stand for this. You can stand, you can sit, whatever feels good to you. Do we want to sit or stand?
Let's stand.
Stand.
Okay. Baruch Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. All right, we can be seated. And we're going to turn to page 63 for Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Torah u'mitzvot u'kim mishpatim utanu limadeta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shavenu u'bekumeinu nasiach b'rokecha b'divrei Toratecha u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem hayinu ve'oret yameinu ve'oret yameinu u'vahen negei yomam v'layla ve'avata lo tasor mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Beautiful.
All right. Now, keeping with the theme, Aviva, what have you been doing for self-care in this time?
Thanks for asking. So I've actually got into a new form of self-care since quarantine started, and it was something that I wanted to try, knew I should try for a long time, and just felt like I never had the time. I didn't know how to fit it into my routine. And this seemed like a really good time to try it out. And so what I have been doing is starting to do mindfulness. And I have the app Headspace, which usually you pay a subscription for. Now there's actually free content on there for specifically this time. It's called Weathering the Storm. And I've just been doing some courses on there every day. Ben and I have been doing it at night. It's just really nice to like take a moment in this time and really check in with yourself and take a moment away from all the craziness and feel really calm and in touch with yourself. And it's just been really nice. And I hope that I can continue it even after all this is done. But it's been really nice so far and I highly recommend it.
Amazing.
And so that really actually connects really well with what we're doing next, which is the Shema on page 65. And The Shema is really a moment, like typically we close our eyes. We really try to focus only on the Shema, nothing else, which is really what you're kind of doing when you're doing mindfulness, is like trying to shut out what's around you or not get distracted by it and really focus on the thought in your mind. So with that, we're going to say the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher Anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha uvleftecha b'derech u'shofbecha uvkumecha u'shartam le'od al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'tavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha. So Ben,
Yes.
what have you been doing for self-care
Oh,
during quarantine?
well, along with Headspace, we've also been using that a lot. Found a lot more time to kind of use my creativity and play a lot of music, practice my guitar a lot. I've been writing a song recently.
Amazing.
The days have been sometimes a little bit long, so I've been trying to channel that creativity into different mediums. I've been skateboarding a lot, trying to get outside like at least once a day, but a lot of music listening to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's been really nice. I know Julie and I pulled out our instruments once. Or twice. Ben's been a lot better about it. So anyway, that really flows into Mi Hamoha, which is on page 79, which is relevant not only because Passover just ended, and this was Miriam crossing the Red Sea, but also because when she crossed, she took out her timbrel and all the women sang and danced, and
Yes.
they used music.
And our roommate Jillian thinks this is a total slapper. She thinks it's a total bop. So like this one's for her, and she's really sitting and just watching us. What? We converted her with this song.
It's a great one.
Mi hamoha, mi hamoha, mi hamoha, mi hamoha, mi hamoha, mi hamoha, va'elim Adonai. Mi hamoha, mi hamoha, mi hamoha, mi hamoha, mi hamoha, mi hamoha, nevar b'kodesh, norati lot, osefele, norati lot, osefele. Mi hamoha, mi hamoha, mi hamoha, mi hamoha, mi hamoha, mi hamoha, va'elim Adonai. Mi hamoha, mi hamoha, mi hamoha, mi hamoha, mi hamoha, mi hamoha, nedav b'kodesh. Yalla, lie. That's fine. Great. It was just a shout out to Cantor Howard in that moment.
It really hits that high note, and it's beautiful every
Channel
time.
his inner energy.
Beautiful. Okay, and with that, we're going to do Hashkivenu, which is on page 80-81 with transliteration on page 83. And before we do that, there's this reading that I know many of us have heard many times, but as we were planning this, I came across it again, and it really feels like it's especially relevant now. So it's at the bottom of page 83. When fears multiply and danger threatens, when sickness comes, when death confronts us, it is God's blessing of shalom that sustains us and upholds us, lightening our burden, dispelling our worry, restoring our strength, renewing our hope, reviving us.
Shall we?
Yes. This did not work. We must restart. I messed up. Yeah, yes. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Leshalom, Hashkivenu Malkeinu.
That's better.
Leshaim, Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Leshalom, Hashkivenu Malkeinu Lechaim. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Leshalom, Hashkivenu Malkeinu Lechaim.
Wow.
I apologize to everyone that went to Camp JRF or Camp Havaya that I know is disappointed in me for messing that up. Okay, next we are going to turn to page 85 for Vishamru.
Oh, my favorite.
Ben's fave.
We
And
have one person saying there's bad buffering. Is the feed still working for everyone else? We just had one person saying there's bad buffering. Our sound editor says that we're doing all right, so I'm going to trust her.
yeah. Okay, well, just let us know. We're kind of keeping an eye, even though we put the computer kind of far away. But I'm not seeing anyone else.
My dad's saying that.
Oh. Hello.
We're doing great. Okay.
Okay, cool. All
If
right.
anyone is having any trouble, try refreshing the page.
Isabel says
Sometimes
it's
that
all
works.
good as well.
Thanks
Okay.
as well.
Sorry, Dad.
Okay, and for Vishamru, all you JRC people know we had to put the bits in here. So we're gonna do it. Vishamru, Bnei Israel, et HaShabbat, Lasot et HaShabbat, Letorah Tamerit Olam. Leolam, et hashamayim v'et haaretz, Vishamru b'nei Yisrael, et hashabat, lasot et hashabat, letorah tamerit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, et hashamayim v'et haaretz, Vishamru b'nei Yisrael, et hashabat, lasot et hashabat, letorah tamerit olam. Uvayom hazeh, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Vishamru b'nei Yisrael, et hashabat, lasot et hashabat, letorah tamerit olam, letorah tamerit olam, letorah tamerit olam.
Wow.
Another shout out to Cantor Howard's high notes there.
Okay, I'm sweating.
Beautiful.
The
Yeah.
robe has
Very
got to
warm.
come off. The robe is fully
Do
coming
it.
off. It's not happening.
If you guys
I'm
can
still
catch
in
on,
pajamas.
we're doing bathrobes for, self-care, being comfortable. All right. So next we have the Amidah, which is typically done silently. It begins on page 91. And I thought that since it's already silent, and I already talked about mindfulness, and also for those of you that are in my 4th grade class, which hopefully some of you are watching, those kids know that I love reading children's books to them, love doing read alouds. I do it every single week. And so I thought that I had a perfect book to share, and I wanted to share it. So it's called Breathing Makes It Better. I'm going to move closer so I can show the
Take a
photo.
back seat.
Take a back seat.
They're going to take a chill for a second. Okay. Breathing Makes It Better by Christopher Willard and Wendy O'Leary. It says, a book for sad days, mad days, glad days, and all the feelings in between. All right. Gotta figure out how to line up. Okay. You are alive. And because you are alive, you have feelings and emotions, just like every person on Earth. Sometimes you feel happy, silly, joyful, and calm. And sometimes you feel sad, angry, scared, and alone. And it can be uncomfortable. I'm so scared I'm gonna light this book on fire. Okay. There you go. But if you watch really notice, feelings come and go. Just like your breath goes in and out in each little moment of the day. When your morning starts out terrible and your heart feels hurt or broken, stop and take a breath. When I am sad, be still, be here. I shine warm and bright, like the sun full of light. Breathe in, breathe out, peace is near. When trouble lurks around every corner and your stomach aches and churns, stop and take a breath. When I am anxious, be still, be here. I stay strong and sure, like a mountain secure. Breathe in, breathe out. Peace is near. When the world feels strange and lonely and your chest feels tight and closed, stop and take a breath. When I'm alone, be still, be here. I stand like a tree in the woods tall and free. Breathe in, breathe out. Peace is near. When life seems unfair and beyond your control, and your face feels hot and fiery, stop and take a breath. When I am angry, be still, be here. I rise in the sky like a cloud flying high. Breathe in, breathe out. Peace is near. When nothing makes sense and the answers are missing, and your brain feels dull and jumbled, stop and take a breath. When I'm confused, be still, be here. I rest like a mirror on a lake calm and clear. Breathe in, breathe out. Peace is near. When darkness and shadows are everywhere and your lungs feel short and shallow, stop and take a breath. When I am scared, be still, be here. I relax and let go, like a river I flow. Breathe in, breathe out. Peace is near. To be alive is to have feelings and emotions, and when you breathe in and out and pay attention to your breath, you can watch your feelings come and go. Happy and sad, silly and angry, joyful and scared, calm and alone. When you breathe, you are alive. And because you are alive, anything is possible.
Aww.
Wow.
Love
So
that.
that's that book. And so we'll take a couple minutes for a silent Amidah. And you can use this with the prayers in the book and the prayers in your heart. You can use it as an opportunity to try some deep breathing and calm and really being in touch with yourself a bit. So let's take a couple minutes for that. Great. And so I'm going to continue talking. I'm taking a lot of airspace right now. But I wrote a devar for this week. What happened was... what had happened was we were all hanging out a few nights ago, and I was reading through the portion, and it's a lot about priests and Moses and Aaron and kashrut, and I was kind of like, this doesn't feel relevant. And then I woke up at 6:45 a.m. the next morning, and I was like, oh, I have an idea. I'm so excited to share this with everyone. I see where this is relevant. And so I wrote this at like 6:50 a.m. a few days ago. So I'm excited to share it
And
with
then
you.
came into my room at 8 a.m. to read it to me.
Yes, of course. Had to be done. I was just too excited. All right. The theme of this week's portion is clean and unclean. In this portion is the inauguration of the priestly service. As Moses tells Aaron, one of the priest's jobs is, quote, to distinguish between the holy and the common, and between the unclean and the clean. This portion details the laws of kashrut. God tells Moses and Aaron which animals they can eat and which they can't. For those they can't, the text refers to them as unclean or impure. Those who come into contact with the corpses of these animals are then themselves considered unclean for a period. The text says, by these you shall become unclean. Whoever touches the carcass of any of them shall be unclean until the evening, and whoever carries any part of the carcass of any of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the evening. Included in the list of animals we are told not to eat is the bat. As many of us know, experts have inferred that COVID-19 originated in bats and was then transferred to humans who came in contact with them. The CDC writes, COVID-19 is caused by a new coronavirus. Coronaviruses are a large family of viruses that are common in people and many different species of animals, including camels, cattle, cats, and bats. Rarely, animal coronaviruses can infect people and then spread between people, such as with MERS, SARS, and now with this new virus. COVID-19 is a beta coronavirus, like MERS and SARS. All three of these viruses have their origins in bats. End quote. Now, this is not a pitch for kashrut. It is up to each individual to decide what is and is not meaningful to them. I personally do not keep kosher as it has never felt spiritually meaningful to me. However, I am struck by the relevance of the theme of this portion to our present experiences. Now more than ever, our society is hyper-aware of cleanliness, hyper-focused on what might be clean and unclean. We are wearing masks and gloves when we go to the store. We are sanitizing groceries and packages before they come in the door. For many people, even going outside to take a walk feels scary. With this awareness of an invisible uncleanliness that is in our midst, it is easy for us to feel apprehensive, fearful, and anxious. Hygiene has become a weapon against this invisible enemy. We are now constantly fighting against this feeling of impurity, desperately wanting to feel clean. So, as we move into the next stretch of this pandemic, here's my challenge to you. How can we find ways of turning these cleaning experiences into moments of appreciation, calm, and mindfulness, and away from experiences laced with fear and anxiety? If we are to sustain our mental and emotional health through the coming weeks and months, I believe it is imperative that we reframe these experiences into ones that nourish our spirits, not ones that bring them down. And that is why we wanted to focus on self-care this week. As you wash your hands, say the prayer for hand washing that Rabbi Weiss has shared with us in prior weeks. As you wash your produce, take a moment to use all your senses and experience the food, feeling appreciation for all it took for it to get from a seed in the ground into your hands. As you wipe down your packages, feel gratitude for the people who are hard at work delivering items to people's houses so that we do not have to go out to buy them. Play some calming music while you shower. It is easy to find spa music on platforms like YouTube and Spotify. Get into that bathtub you never use and take a bubble bath. Light some candles and allow yourself to relax and enjoy a moment of solitude, away from the family members you are trapped with that are starting to drive you a little crazy. There are so many ways to slow down and remind ourselves of the privileges we have to have homes to stay in, running water to clean ourselves with, access to food to nourish ourselves, technology to keep working or going to school. My challenge to everyone this week is to find a moment for self-care. It is okay to take a moment to check in with yourself, to find ways to turn experiences that feel anxiety-inducing into ones that calm you and sustain you. If you want, write something new you plan to do this week for self-care in the chat, and hold yourself to it. I wish everyone health, happiness, and calm this week, and Shabbat Shalom.
Amazing.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, so feel free to write in the chat if there's a self-care thing that you would like to try this week, and something that you would like to ideally hold yourself to.
And we're going to wrap up this Amidah and Devar part with Shalom Rav, which is on page 105.
Which I saw someone requested, so
Don't worry.
Don't
this
worry.
is our top favorite.
this is for sure the
It had to
fave.
be in here. Shalom Rav Yisrael Shalom Rabbi Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki Atzahu Melech Adon Levo HaShalom. Ki Atzahu Melech Adon Levo HaShalom. Shalom Rabbi Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rabbi Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. B'tov peinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael ve'kol yoshvei teivel v'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rabbi Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rabbi Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Baruch atah Adonai Oseh Halom. Stunning.
Do I have to do something soon?
After this next one, which was supposed to be grape juice. The candles are
Candles are dying.
Okay.
It's fine, we're doing great.
So this is where we do Kiddush. If I had thought ahead, we would have poured grape juice. But
Should we do that now?
Nah.
should we do it while you do your thing? Spiel?
Sure. That's
Okay.
fine.
Julia's also written some words. I'm gonna run and grab grape juice for us.
We forgot about the grape juice. But we are coming into, after this, the healing portion of our service where we read the names of people who are suffering either physically or emotionally. And we are all in an immensely challenging time emotionally. And as someone who works in mental health personally, I thought I would share one brief reflection from working with my members as they navigate this crisis as well. One thing I keep hearing is, well, someone's worse than me, so I shouldn't really feel depressed about it. At least I have clothes on my back and a roof over my head. And now these words are coming from people, some of whom are homeless and couch surfing, others who do not get enough supplemental security income or SSI money to make it through the month, and yet they still feel guilt for their emotions. It is so important in this time to let ourselves feel sadness, anger, grief, anxiety, depression. Someone will always have it worse than us. That is simply a fact of life. But that does not negate the fact that we are all experiencing a collective trauma, a collective grieving process. And we will only be able to move through this if we allow ourselves to fully experience the negative emotions, acknowledge that what we are going through right now is really hard, and reach out for support. You are valid in your emotions, both positive and negative, as you find your own process for navigating this difficult time. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Thank you. Okay, so I have our tiny things of grape juice.
In shot glasses.
Listen, I didn't want to get a bunch of things. Shout out to Chelsea Rosten if she's watching, and Natanya Perlis for giving me these shot glasses.
Oh, God.
I forget who gave me the Yes Queen one, but it also wasn't a friend. So
In the
shout out to
homes
you.
of 23-year-olds are shot glasses.
All right, so Kiddush is on page 119. Savrei Chavarai, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedoshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabar kodsho be'ahava v'ratzon hinhilanu. Zikara l'maaseh Bereshit, ki yom tehila l'mikra kodesh, zeher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki elanu karata, ve'otanu kidashta, le'avodecha, v'shabat kodshecha, ve'ahava v'ratzon,
Tanu.
Baruch atah Adonai.
Mekadesh HaShabbat.
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Okay.
Delicious.
All right.
Grape juice.
Coolio.
We took a risk. We went for the long version. We made it through.
Julia did not make it through.
Awesome. Okay. So now, on a different note, we're going to move into Mishaberach, which is our prayer for healing. I do not have it in my Siddur version. I think it's I know it's glued into the JRC books, but I taught it to my 4th graders this year. It's a great one. So I have the list of names, and I'm going to do my absolute best with the names both here and for Warner's Cottage later, and I sincerely apologize if I mess up on anyone's name. I tell kids I teach all the time, always correct someone if they mispronounce your name, because your name is your identity, and everyone should be pronouncing it correctly, and so I'm going to do my best. Leah Bat Yonina Umeir, Suzanne Berkson, Steve Clark, Leah Bass, Bonnie Chakravorty, Sarah Cohn, Bryna Citronbaum, Norman Ferber, Beverly Fisher, Don Goldstein, Robert Gotkin, Barbara Harris, Scott Hillman, Laura Holzinger, Lisa Jameson, Gloria Cadillac, Diane Kaiser, Jeffrey Kaiser, Irv Kaplan, Kimberly Sikorsky-Klein, Mercedes Baker-Kolb, Pat Lane, Marcy Lang, Mark Malbone, Sherry Mack, Susan Mogerman, Dave Mork, Karen Ophir, Jackie Ginsburg, Pangilinen, Marjorie Present, Jason Schmeig, Ann Schmidt, Barbara Shaw, Lou Sikorsky, Edith Trilling, Ada Warren, Sasha Wood, Emily Wood. If you have someone else that you would like to say a refuah shlema for, you can put them into the chat now, and we are going to say Mishra together.
We have not done this one yet, so
That's okay.
It's one of Ben's favorites, though.
Is that a good song for you guys?
Yeah.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu Likor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
All right, now we're going to turn to Aleinu on page 121, and typically we stand for this one. So should we stand?
Yes, if you're able to, please join us.
Shout out to our moms saying hi to each other
Yes.
in the chat. Hi, Marcy and Kim. All right.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, lateit gedula le'otzer breshit, shenatan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam atah b'toheinu, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavinu modim, lifnei melech malchei hamohim, hakadosh baruch hu.
Kakatu b'toratecha,
Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, v'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai le'melech al kol ha'aretz, v'yom hahu
Hayom hahu yeh Adonai echad. Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo echad.
Beauteous.
Love that.
I also do want to acknowledge someone put in the chat the sun came out in the middle of the service for the first time today.
Yes.
And that is absolutely
that.
correct.
Stunning.
And makes me very happy.
Amazing. All right. So we are going to say the Mourner's Kaddish, which can be found on page 130, 131 in the Siddur. And once again, I am going to read the names of those we are saying Kaddish for this week. And while I'm doing this, also please put the names of those that you are saying Kaddish for in the chat. Ronald Fenton, father of Julie Fenton. Samuel M. Frank, father of Helen Wyden. Paul Frenselbeam, father of Helga Lowe Harper and grandfather of Josh Lowe. Leonard Fuchs, father of Betsy Fuchs. Beth Jacoby Deitch, wife of Ron Deitch. Alexander J. Cantor, father of Arnie Cantor. Elliot Lehman, father of Paul Lehman. Alter Lazarowitz, father of Ruth Gilbert. Evelyn Levine, mother of Lori Levy and grandmother of Alyssa Chung. Chester Levinson, father of Barbara Silverman. Blanche Aaron Lippitz, mother-in-law of Rita Lippitz and grandmother of Lori Lippitz. Vivian D. Miller, mother of John Miller. Sarah Millman, grandmother of Cheryl Simon. Richard Pelletier, father of Yehuda Jacoby. Michael Plushett, father of Liz Plushett. Claire Raphael, mother of Susie Bergson. Norton Rappaport, grandfather of John Rappaport. Victor Rubinson, grandfather of Anne Dolinko. Arthur Shufro, father of Julie Shufro. Eddie Zaban, uncle of Marilyn LeBoy.
In chat we have Leonard Fuchs, father of Betsy Fuchs.
Okay, should we rise?
Yes. Please rise if you're able to do so.
Gadol v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Be'amah divrach hiroteh v'michmateh. B'chayachon u'vyomechon u'chayeh dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam lo me'amaya. Yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yita'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei kudusha b'rehu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'amah v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru amen. Oseh shalom bin romav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. V'imru amen.
Thank you, Julia.
Mm-hmm.
And Julia is going to share with us
One final reading, and then one final bop of a song, and then that will conclude our service. This is a Mary Oliver poem called Wild Geese. I know one of my good friends, Isabel, loves this poem a lot, and I also thought it felt very relevant for concluding this service, so I will read that. Wild Geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert, repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about your despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are headed home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. I also totally forgot to mention that I compiled a list of self-care activities and online self-care resources in like a Google Doc, just because goes along with the theme. It is part of what I do every day for work. I was like, let me just do work hours for this. And I will go ahead and share that Google Doc in the chat so you all have access to at least what we think are really good resources and access to use during this time.
And Julia, before we do our final bop of the night,
yes,
please share what you have been doing for your self-care during this quarantine.
Oh, she has
been along for the journey.
She said unscripted.
She has been coloring, and she's gonna find her most recent completed page. Where are you?
What is it about coloring that you think helps you with your self-care?
Coloring really helps me focus. Like, I'm doing a lot of phone calls with members right now. It can get exhausting. And it can be hard to focus on kind of listening to many of the same things over and over again. So I find it very useful in helping me focus and really like hone in on what people are saying. And so this is my recently completed one.
Stunning.
A beauty.
Does she have a name?
No.
Untitled.
Untitled by Julia
Untitled
Wellisch.
by Julia Wellisch.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
I also have a coloring book and I should get back into it.
Yes.
But okay, this is going to be Adon Olam on page 133.
All right. We ready?
We're ready.
Give us an opening chord, you know? 1, 2, 3. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Leit Nasa, V'Nasam Kol, Yitzir Neshima Nikra Adon Olam, Ve'Amarei Kilo Takol, Ve'Adon Yilok Nara Adon Olam, Ve'Hu Haya, Ve'Hu Oved, Ve'Hu Yeh B'Tifara Adon Olam, Ve'Hu Echad Ve'Sheni, V'Chad Shil Ve'Mirach Adon Olam, Ve'Li Leishit, Ve'Li Tachli, Ve'Lo Ha'oz Ve'Hamizar Adon Olam, Ve'Hu Eli, Ve'Chai Goleli, Ve'Tzor Ve'Li Ve'Tzara Adon Olam, Ve'Hu Nisi, U'Hanosli, Ve'Nakosi Be'yom Ekra Adon Olam, Ve'Ya'ado Achiv Ruhi, Ve'Yishad Ve'Yira Adon Olam, Ve'Yiruhi, Ve'Yati, Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol,
B'terem Kol,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitzir Nivra,
Leit Nasa,
Leit Nasa,
V'Nasam Kol, Asher Neshima Nikra Adon Olam. Amazing.
And huge shout out to Ben for just like fully learning all of these songs. In fact, even learning the Reconstructionist version of
Yes.
some songs, which was a big change, as I imagine,
To
from what you would
Reform
do
Judaism,
in
yeah.
Reform. So we love that for him.
Thank you.
You're-
I really
You
appreciate
really did a
JRC.
mitzvah for us.
Really appreciate JRC like opening their doors to me, letting me come to services. It's a really beautiful congregation. It's a very loving congregation, and I love you guys. And thank you everyone for joining us and singing with us and self-caring with us.
And thank you, Jillian, for putting up with our many Jewish
Yes.
rituals and customs over the past couple of weeks. She's been a trooper. She participated in the Passover story. It's been wonderful.
Yes.
It's been great. So
And-
we love all of you. We hope this is great. Please, if you have not already, put something in the chat that you're going to do this week for
Yes.
self-care and hold yourself to it.
And
We would
I
love
will
to see
put
what
in the
people are
chat.
doing.
Put in the chat the self-care things.
Yeah, so stay for a minute. Julia's going to toss it in there. Maybe we'll even have it sent to an email. We'll check in.
Yeah,
With
yeah, yeah.
people.
For
So-
sure, for sure.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat shalom.
Enjoy weekends.